The hunting grounds of Theta 9 were never meant for human feet. The gravity pulled 3 times harder than Earth's embrace. The atmosphere carried toxins that could dissolve unprotected lungs in minutes, and the apex predators, the Vraks, considered any 2-legged creature fair prey. Yet there Kayleen stood, or rather, slumped against the obsidian cliff face, her environmental suit torn in 7 places, blood mixing with the planet's caustic rain. She had been a salvage pilot. Nothing more, nothing less. The distress beacon from the crashed Vraxian vessel had promised easy pickings, advanced technology, rare metals, perhaps even intact power cores. What it hadn't promised was a nest of Vrax cubs, barely a season old, trapped in the wreckage when their parent vessel had plummeted from orbit. The adult Vrax had died on impact. The scanning equipment had told her that much. What the scanners hadn't told her was that the cubs, 6 of them, each the size of a wolf, but infinitely more dangerous, were still alive, still hungry, and utterly terrified. Colleen had made her choice in seconds. She could have walked away. Should have walked away. Her oxygen reserves were critical, her suit's integrity failing, and the nearest human outpost was 4 days' journey through hostile territory. But the cubs had looked at her with eyes too intelligent to belong to simple beasts, had chittered in what her translator struggled to interpret as help, and scared, and mother gone. So she'd stayed. She'd broken into the emergency supplies, found the nutrient paste the Vraks used for their young, and fed them one by one. They had bitten her. Of course they had. Fear made children of all species dangerous. Her left arm bore the marks of their panic deep gouges that her suit's medical systems screamed warnings about. Toxins in the bloodstream. Infection probability at 73%. And rising. But she'd stayed. 3 days. 3 days of rationing oxygen she didn't have. Of feeding cubs that didn't understand she was trying to help. Of slowly teaching them that the strange 2-legged creature meant no harm. 3 days of watching them transform from terrified orphans into something almost like trust. Now, on the 4th day, her body was giving out. The suit's final power cell had died an hour ago. The toxins were winning. She'd managed to seal the cubs safely inside the least damaged section of the wreckage, left them with enough supplies to last another week if she calculated correctly. If the Vraxian search parties came, if they came in time, Colleen slid further down the cliff face, her legs no longer obeying commands. The rain intensified, each drop a small agony against exposed skin. Her vision blurred at the edges. Darkness, creeping in like a patient predator of its own. That's when she heard them. The cubs. They'd breached her makeshift seal somehow, their claws scraping against metal as they emerged from the wreckage. 6 pairs of eyes glowed in the perpetual twilight of Theta 9, fixed on her crumpled form. They approached slowly, circling. And Colleen wondered if this was it. If they'd revert to instinct now that she was vulnerable. Finish what their fear bites had started. But the smallest one, the one she'd privately named Squeaker for its constant vocalizations, pressed close to her side, generating body heat. The others followed suit, their chittering taking on a different tone. Worried, protective. One of the larger cubs, she thought it might be the alpha of the group, began pulling at her suit with careful claws, trying to close a tear near her shoulder. Another attempted to drag supplies from the wreckage, medical containers it couldn't possibly understand but recognized from watching her use them. They were trying to save her. These predator cubs, these creatures who should have seen her as prey or threat, were trying to patch her wounds with clumsy, unpracticed movements that spoke of desperate mimicry. Kayleen wanted to laugh, wanted to cry. Managed neither. Only a weak cough that brought blood to her lips. The atmospheric processors hummed in the distance, wrong direction for human territory. These were Vraxian. The elite guard, most likely, searching for their lost vessel. Colleen tried to move, to hide, knowing what would come. The Vraks didn't negotiate with lesser species, didn't show mercy to those who trespassed on their hunting worlds. The guard were their finest warriors, enhanced and deadly, and she was a human who'd interfered with Vraxian young. They came over the ridge in formation. 7 towering figures, each 3 meters of armored muscle and predatory grace. Their commander, Rav, led the advance, his sensory appendages already locked onto the wreckage, then onto her. The elite guard halted. Simply stopped, their weapons half raised, their formation breaking as they took in the scene before them. A human, dying. 6 cubs, pressed protectively around her, chittering their distress. Medical supplies scattered about Vraxian medical supplies, carefully rationed, empty nutrient containers, each showing the precise portions appropriate for cubs this age. And the human's suit, torn not just by accident but by small claws that had tried, inexpertly, to seal the breaches. Rav approached slowly, and the cubs didn't scatter. Instead, they chittered louder, and Colleen's failing translator caught fragments. Saved us. Fed us. Mother. Gone, she helped. Don't let her die. The commander knelt, massive form dwarfing Colleen's broken body. His warriors waited, weapons lowered, as Rav examined the evidence of what had transpired. 3 days of rationing, 3 days of care. A human who should have fled, should have saved herself, had instead chosen 6 Vraxian cubs over survival. By the first hunt, Rav breathed, his voice carrying harmonics of awe the translator struggled to convey. You honored them. You honored our young when you had no reason, no obligation, no chance of reward. Colleen's lips moved. No sound emerged. Rav's appendages moved in rapid signals to his team. Medical tech. Now. Full protocols. He looked down at Colleen, and in his eyes she saw something she'd never expected from a Vraxian warrior. You will not die here, human. The Vrax do not forget such debts. The cubs have claimed you are nest kin now. You are pack. As the medical systems enveloped her, as consciousness finally slipped away, Colleen heard the cubs still chittering, felt their warmth surrounding her, and knew that somehow, against all odds and logic, humanity had just made the most unlikely friends in all the galaxy. The elite guard carried her to their ship, the cubs following, and Rav sent a priority transmission to the Vraxian High Council that would change the course of human-Vrax relations forever. Because if one human could show such honor, such selfless courage, perhaps these lesser species were worth knowing after all. Perhaps they always had been.